Real tea, plastic savage. Ooh, spill that tea.
As always, I just want to remind you, everything I'm discussing is for entertainment purposes only. I am not actually affiliated with these people, and this is all speculation and based on what we've all seen as the public. And on that note, let's get into some things. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Real Tea Plastic Savage. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Your support is always appreciated. Now, today, I did want to do a couple of pre-recorded videos on just a couple of topics that I talked about in my recent videos, but more condensed. But I was just feeling I don't know, I just felt like it was the vibe for a live instead. So really quick, I just wanted to get into none other than the Wendy Williams Show. If you don't know, the Wendy Williams Show is a big inspiration for what I try to do here with Real Tea Plastic Savage. She is an icon in radio and TV and entertainment news and gossip and all that. You know, she's definitely done her fair share of things that I don't agree with, and the way she's handled a lot of situations in her personal life. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? She really is. She is that bitch. And so it has been sad to see her health issues and all the things that she's gone through. Some things I feel like maybe karma got to her, but there's definitely a lot of stuff that she's been going through behind the scenes, and I hope she gets better. But recently, this past year, after all of her issues as far as her relationship and her divorce, and her husband having a relationship with another woman and getting her pregnant and all that, and her issues with drugs and being in rehab, she really was making a comeback, and her show is doing really well, but her health issues are the latest things to really hinder her. And so most recently, she was supposed to be coming back from the summer break that her show always takes. And they actually made a few announcements earlier in the month. She was originally supposed to return on the 4th of October, and then she had a breakthrough COVID case, and allegedly she was having issues regarding her Graves' disease, which, if you don't know what that is, I don't know how exactly to describe it. It's autoimmune, but it causes your eyes to bulge, and it causes you to have sensitivity to light, and it affects your immune system a lot too. And there's special medications you have to take for it, but it affects more than just your eyes. I know that. But that is one of the visual things that you can see from it. And then also she has edema, I think, or lymphedema, on her foot and ankle. So it's hard for her to walk. So she just had a lot going on. And, she still shows up to work and does the thing early in the morning all the time, delivers the stories. Do I think that she started to seem a little bit more out there recently? Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, girl, this is your show and you don't even know what the hell is going on. There's definitely a couple moments last year where she was reading stories and I'm like, did they even brief you about this before you went on? This is your job. But I know she's older, and so some of these young kids, you know what I'm saying? Things change every 5 seconds nowadays. It's hard to keep up, even for me. So I personally think that she had a lot more left in her to give to the show, but they were swirling these rumors now that they're going to use this as a way to get rid of her. There was rumors going around that the network was looking to replace her show with a different talk show, and those rumors were definitely squashed. you know, they made sure to put out a statement. Actually, it said Wendy is a valued stalwart member of the Debmar Mercury family and has been so for 12 years. We want her health to be her top priority. As soon as she's ready, she will be back in her treasured purple chair. But they definitely wanted to make sure. Oh, right. So Graves' disease, that's what I was trying to get to. Graves' disease has to do with the thyroid. So but they basically let everybody know, like, we're not looking to replace her show. And I truly believe that even if she's gonna maybe take a step back because of health reasons, she should still stay involved. And I think that they could still have the show if she is kind of running it from behind the scenes more and selecting people that she feels fit the vibe. You get what I'm saying? But that being said, they did end up, having a series of guest judges now that the show has returned. And the first, they had a hot talk panel, and that consisted of, friends of the show, people that have been on before, Bevy Smith, Devin Simone, who I love Devin Simone, Elizabeth Wagmeister, and then Michael Yo. I have to say it was okay. That one, I didn't mind having like a panel, but I just felt like we have shows like that. And the thing about the Wendy show is that she's a one-woman show. You know what I'm saying? She does what other shows need several personalities to accomplish. She does that all on her own. That is the thing about the Wendy show. Like, that's why these other shows are always going to be trailing behind, because she is a trailblazer in that sense. So they had like a hot talk panel on Monday when they debuted, and then they had Leah Remini, who is a friend of Wendy's and a friend of the show. I personally always loved Leah Remini. I followed her story leaving Scientology. I don't know why I said it like that. Leaving Scientology. I loved her on King of Queens. It's actually funny because back in the day, my mom and Leah Remini, they look so alike. They literally look like they could be like twin sisters. So when because my mom has, like, my mom doesn't really look like how she used to look back then, but everybody literally used to tell my mom, wow, I thought you were Leah Remini. So I have this like special connection to Leah Remini. I got to know her a little differently though while she was hosting this. I didn't know that I found Leah Remini to be annoying until she hosted the Wendy show. And she had help. I'm leaving Michelle Visage out, who if you don't know who Michelle Visage is, then you clearly don't know about RuPaul's Drag Race or anything like that, because she has been a staple host. She's always hosted, been a judge on RuPaul's Drag Race. So if you've ever watched RuPaul's Drag Race, you've seen her before, except for she was known for her gigantic breasts, and she had a breast reduction. So that's something that might be different. But I love Michelle Visage. I love her hair, how she's leaning into the gray streak. And so Michelle and Leah are friends. So it was cute, I was a little confused at first because they had Leah walk out like as if she was Wendy, but then they had Michelle walk out like after the show already started to join her. And I felt like if they're co-hosting together, like they should have both walked out. There were some things about it that felt awkward, that felt out of place. Leah, I feel like, has this more personable personality, but after watching this, I find her to be a little much. I find her to be a little bit obnoxious for my taste. Michelle definitely had a little bit better handle on like, hosting something like this, I feel. So it was nice that they balance each other out, but there was people actually saying online too that they were definitely giving, ants after a couple of glasses of wine at a family party. To look at them. Look at them. So they guest hosted for the whole week together. They were so cute. You definitely can tell that they're from New York and New Jersey. I mean, literally, Michelle Visage is from Plainfield, New Jersey. That's like 5 seconds away from my dad's house. That's Central Jersey. Shout out to Central Jersey. Shout out to Plainfield. Shout out to Denellen. Shout out to Piscataway, Edison, New Brunswick. But yeah, so they were definitely like two tipsy ants just gossiping and chatting. It felt like half the time they weren't even talking about what the topics were that they were supposed to be talking about. Leah looked confused the whole damn time. I don't know if she knows any current people in Hollywood right now. But that was really funny. And so I don't know. I didn't really love it. They were not like, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the Wendy show. I felt like the whole time I was like, get to the point. And Leah's just like, look at the look on her face here. Like, did she just look confused? This is the general vibe that I got the entire time. Confusion. But they did make a nice team. I wouldn't mind seeing Leah and Michelle do like a podcast or something like that where they chat about, their life and current events and stuff like that. But it did just feel like it was like pulling teeth getting through all of the segments the whole week. I couldn't really follow throughout the whole episode. It was just a little much. And then this week we moved on to a new guest host, Whitney Cummings, who, if you don't know who she is, she's a stand-up comic. She's been around for a while. I remember being introduced to her from the Chelsea Handler show, Chelsea Lately, because I grew up watching that. So they had her come out, and I was like confused because they were saying that they were going to have just her. They keep saying it's one guest host or one guest host, but then they have another person come out. So I was like, okay, so why don't you just say you're having two guest hosts? Like, is there a difference in the pay, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, but they said Whitney Cummings is hosting, and then they had Dulce Sloan, who I just recently was introduced to. I actually saw her on the Trevor Noah show, but yeah, so she's funny. They're both comedians. Dulce's actually, I felt like Dulce was more of a natural when I watched the Wendy show yesterday. It felt like Whitney Cummings was trying too hard. It felt like Whitney Cummings was almost being forced. It felt like she was forcing being sarcastic. You get what I'm saying? Like she was trying too hard to get a laugh. And it was not landing, and it was almost just sounding rude. And it's the Wendy show. I mean, like, that is a stretch to be like, oh, it's rude. Like, of course it's rude. We're talking about celebrity gossip. Like, it's unfiltered tea. But I just didn't get an authentic vibe from Whitney. But I will say that if you're not used to hosting such a big platform live show like this, where usually one woman is the standard, you know what I'm saying? I can see that being intimidating. Maybe it was her first day jitters. I didn't see today's episode, but my opinion so far, and from what a lot of people have been saying, is that they want Leah back. I personally am fine if they literally had Michelle Visage instead of Leah. Maybe Michelle Visage hosts and then Leah come out a little bit. I don't know. But so far, what I got was that Whitney it wasn't a fit. You know what I'm saying? It felt like a job. When I see Wendy Williams on the show, it feels like we're sitting in her living room gossiping. Like, I felt like Whitney was being paid for a job. You get what I'm saying? They're all getting paid, but yeah. So that was my opinion on that. Now, my prediction is that Wendy's health, it might get better, okay? I think, though, that in the long run, we're going to get more situations like this, where maybe Wendy is hosting 3 days a week, and then 2 of the days of the week they have a guest on. Or maybe Wendy will be the main person, but she's going to have some other people come on to help, take some of the pressure off of her. I don't know. My other prediction is that they gave her an ultimatum and said, we're going to find a replacement for your show on our own, or you can agree to help us. And I think Wendy, being the woman that she is, I mean, I would do it too. You're not going to take my legacy and just slap whatever you want on it. I'm picking who replaces me. You get what I'm saying? So if there is, if there is the possibility of Wendy finding some sort of a replacement for her, or at least someone to like permanently be a co-host with her, besides because she calls the audience members her co-host. I do see her being like, no, I'm gonna handpick. I'm gonna have people that I think fit the vibe come and do little guest host segments, and I'm gonna see which one of them fit before I choose. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of like an audition, but they're live. I mean, so you know, you never know. You never know. I don't know who's going to be hosting going forward. So far they only announced, they're announcing as the week is about to be here who's going to be hosting. So we'll have to just wait and see. But the final bit of tea that I did hear is that they are struggling to get audience members in. I mean, they are really, really struggling. They're allegedly having to pay people $75 just to have them sit in the audience. I saw a tweet about it. I think Neighborhood Talk, actually. Yeah. So this isn't the first rumor that I heard about this. I heard the other day that after like the first 2 days of Leah hosting with Michelle, that a fraction of the people that usually wait in line to come in for the live audience were there, and they had to start bribing, allegedly, people that were waiting online, because there was only about 20 or 30 people, and they usually have about 80 to 100. They were telling them like, oh, like if you bring friends, we'll give you these like like goodie bags with like expensive items in them. So they were bribing people with material things, and now allegedly they are paying audience members $75 to sit in. Listen, I would take $75 to get in, and I mean, as far as I knew, I thought that like they sometimes paid like extras and paid some people to fill in the empty seats. I thought that's how shows did it before. I could be wrong. But yeah, so if this is true, though, it's kind of unfortunate because it seems like they're burning the candle at both ends. And so I hope that they're able to find like a solution before the overall ratings for the show really take a hit, because I don't want to see Wendy go out like that, especially because the show literally, like, I am so into like celebrity gossip and entertainment news because of people like Wendy Williams. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I want to see her go out in a way that is fitting for her legendary status. I personally would love to guest host on that show. Can you imagine? Oh my God, I wish I could be an intern. I want to be part of the Wendy, the bureau. her bureau of investigators. But anyway, who was your favorite guest host so far? Who do you hope to see guest hosting the Wendy show going forward? And do you think that Wendy's going to be coming back anytime soon? Or do you think what I think, that this is going to be more of a long-term thing and that she's just playing her cards right so she can pick her replacement rather than just have a replacement? Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next video.
Real tea, plastic savage. Ooh, spill that tea.
As always, I just want to remind you, everything I'm discussing is for entertainment purposes only. I am not actually affiliated with these people, and this is all speculation and based on what we've all seen as the public